how death happens. Honoring death, not committing suicide. People who commit suicide don't honor death. We must remember. The craving for living results in suicide, not honoring the death. There's a big difference. They can't bear the pain now here. They want to get rid of the pain, so their life is so important for them, not the death. So they commit suicide. Different from body. Different from everything around that is changing. He is the central to spiritual growth. So Nachiketa goes to the abode of death. He waits there for 3 days. Without food and water, he waits there. There is greater knowledge about it, a deeper knowledge here. The whole process of death. What happens? How do you die? When you die, what happens to you? What happens? First, the mind withdraws from the 5 senses with its impressions. You stop feeling first. First the numbness comes. Feeling, sensation disappears in the body. Numbness stops. Then the sight gets blurred. Vision goes away. Sense of touch goes away. Sense of taste goes away. Smell goes away. And then sight, and finally the sound. Finally sound disappears. That's why when someone dies, first sensation in the body goes away. They can't feel the touch. They can't taste anything. Taste goes away. Smell goes away. And then sight goes away. Sight goes away and the smell. And then finally sound goes away. That's why you light a lamp when somebody is dying, because that light, you remember you are light. The soul can see that. A candle is kept light, isn't it? You light a candle and keep it. In all the traditions it's there, in ancient tradition. Somebody is dead, around them they keep a candle. So that the soul, spirit can, little bit, if it's left the body, it can just feel the light a little bit, see the light, and remind the self that you are light. Move on. So from 5 senses, the mind retrieves with the impression of those senses. And then it snaps out of the body. Once it snaps out of the body, it has such a freedom. It's like coming out of a cage. And the spirit becomes so peaceful. In its peace, it also, there is also all those impressions of craving. If a person is so fond of ice cream or so fond of burger, then those things will remain there. Those impressions of burger, those impressions of ice cream, those things remain for some time there. It takes nearly 3 days for the spirit to really adjust to the other side. You have come out of the body, you don't know how to get into the body, and it doesn't interest also. The body is not interesting. It looks like like a garbage, like something which has been thrown away, waste. You never take the used tissues and use it for anything else. You see that? Suppose you have used a tissue and thrown into the garbage can, will you go and pick it and take it? The same sensation with the body comes to the spirit once it snaps out of the body. You don't care to take it. If you want, you can take one more body somewhere else. So it takes almost 48 hours to 3 days maximum, 3 days to get used to the other side, to get relief from this side. It's very, very, very significant. That's why the close relatives and friends, people, for 3 days, their anguish is more. But after the third day, some relief starts coming up. And then by 10 days' time, the ancient system was for 10 days of mourning. 10 days you cry as much as you want. And 11th day you celebrate. 11th day you celebrate. Maximum 10 days. It's not that you should 10 days you should mourn. No. Maximum 10 days. After that you should. Times are different. There is a time zone there. Once you leave the body, then the time zone changes. 6 months is day and 6 months is night. 1 whole year is 1 day. One whole year becomes 1 day. So 3 days Nachiketa waited at the door of death. And the Lord of Death did not come. He did not eat anything. He was there and he was so pious and peaceful and calm, and his uplifted spirit, even death became apologetic to him. Then Yama tells, when a spiritual guest enters the house like a bright flame, he must be received well with water to wash his feet. Someone who is not hospitable, this is to glorify how one should be hospitable. If you are not hospitable, then you lose all your merit. You may do so many good things, but if you are not hospitable, if you are not kind, if you are not caring for a guest, you have lost all the merit. So this is what Lord of Death, Yama says. So the Lord of Death gives 3 boons to the boy, saying, I owe you 3 boons because you have been so calm, so quiet, and you have meditated, you have been in spiritual, you have been a spiritual soul, you have been thinking of something higher